The tripod is made up of sections: the ground spreader, tripod legs, which have 2 levels, and tripod head. At the top of the tripod head, we have the tripod plate. On the side is the handle used to move the tripod head around. On the left, we have the tripod plate screw, tripod plate release button, and the tilt lock screw. On the back, we have the pan tension, tilt tension, and friction knob. Just below the pan is the bubble level and light. On the front of the tripod head is the pan lock screw. To open and set up the tripod, hold the tripod like a baby and unlock and extend the lower legs. Extend the legs, lock the screws, and place the tripod on the ground. Be sure to push down the center support so that the legs are secure. You can extend the ground spreaders to widen the base. This can be helpful in steadying the tripod or to help to get the tripod to a lower position. Make sure you tighten the screws so that the spreader doesn't slide. Take the tripod arm and unscrew it and extend it out all the way from the legs. Make sure you have enough room so that you can move freely. There are grooves on the arm and the tripod head that will round out if you grind them. So please be careful when tightening the arm. Depending on what you will be shooting, you will want to raise or lower the tripod to get the correct height. When shooting an interview, you typically want the lens the same height as the person's head. When shooting an object, get whatever height is required. On the head of the tripod, there will be a bubble level to make sure that your camera and tripod are level. Your tripod also has a light on it to help with this. The button to turn on the light is located on the side of the bubble level. Loosen up the screw underneath the head and between the legs. Once you loosen this up, you'll be able to move the head around. Move the head so that the bubble level is in the center of the circle. On the top and side of the tripod head, there will be a screw. This will unlock the plate from the tripod. On this tripod, loosen up the screw by turning it 2 or 3 times. Push the red button and slide the plate to the back of the tripod head and off. On the side of the plate, you will notice an arrow showing which side the camera lens needs to be on and what side of the tripod head needs to be on. There is also an arrow on the top of the tripod head showing you which way the plate slides on. Grab the camera, and on the bottom there will be a few holes. 2 holes are for screws and 1 is for the pin to hold the plate in place. There are 2 different size screws. In this case, we use the smaller screw and hole. The pin will go into the center hole to help keep the plate from sliding around. Hand tighten the screw and then use a screwdriver, coin, or key to tighten the screw a little bit more. While holding the camera from the handle, slide the camera and the plate onto the tripod head from the back. Before you tighten up the plate, you'll want to balance the camera on the tripod head. While holding the camera, loosen up the tilt knob and see if the camera is balanced on the tripod. You'll also want to set the tilt tension to 0 so that it moves freely. Slide the camera back and forth on the head. Notice the tripod head tilt forward or backwards depending on its balance. Adjust this so that the tripod head doesn't tilt. Once you've found the proper balance, tighten the screw and adjust the tension back to the higher setting that is comfortable for you to use. If it is not balanced, the camera will fall to one side or the other and possibly make the tripod fall over. You will have to rebalance the camera on the head a few times because you will put on things like a battery, cables, monitor, etc., which will make the camera unbalanced again. Most importantly, never leave the tripod without locking the tilt and pan knobs. Otherwise, the camera may fall and you can possibly damage the camera and the tripod. Let's do a quick overview of the camera. On the side with the handle grip, you have power and record button. Behind the handle grip are various connectors. You have SDI out, TC or timecode in and out, and audio input 2. On the top of the handle grip is the zoom control, record check, and iris. On the top handle is another record button that is protected by a cover so not to trigger the record on and off by accident. To access the record button, slide the cover to access the button. Next to that is another zoom control. In front of that is the LCD screen that lifts to reveal other controls. Here you have thumbnail, which brings you back to clip playback. Then you have counter reset, menu, arrow buttons, select, audio monitor and advanced control, bars, and finally exit. Just to the right of the LCD screen is audio input number 1 and the shotgun mount. On the back side of the camera, top center is the eyepiece. This can be used instead of the LCD screen. Many times it's better to use this in very bright light. Below that, to the left behind a cover, you will find the USB-C input, SD1 and SD2 card slots. Below that is the HDMI out. In the middle is the battery. To the right of the battery is AV out, remote, Ethernet, and power. Finally, the side with all the buttons, switches, and rings. First, let's look at the lens. There are 3 rings. You have the focus ring, zoom ring, and iris ring. On the body of the camera is the ND filter for use outside in bright light. Iris, focus assist, focus auto manual, and focus auto button. Just past the red ring, you have OIS or optic image stabilization, zebra, WFM or waveform monitor, and A-iris level or auto iris. Next to that, behind the cover, are the audio controls. Very important is the headphone jack located just above the 4K logo behind the rubber cover. On the bottom, you have gain, which is set to 0, 6, or 12 dB, white balance, shutter, menu scroll select wheel, exit, display mode check, which turns on and off the displays you see in the LCD screen, auto manual, and slot select, which picks which SD slot you want to use if you have more than one card in. Finally, in front of the camera body and under the lens is the white balance button that you will use to set the white balance. Let's take a look at what's on the LCD screen for information. Looking at the LCD screen, we see a lot of information here. Top left shows the counter if you have it on, recording format, and file name below that. Top center shows the SD card slot and how much time remains on each card. We only see SD card 1 right now. Next to that is relay. What will happen in relay is once card 1 gets filled up, the camera will automatically start recording on SD card 2. Top right shows the remaining battery power. Just below the battery is the Steadicam indicator. The wavy hand shows that the camera stabilization is on. In the center of the screen, near the edges, are 2 yellow lines. This shows if the camera is level from right to left. Right now, those show that the camera is tilted to the right just a bit. Bottom left shows what the scroll wheel will control. Below that is the white balance, and below that are audio meters. To the right is dB, how much gain is added to the video. Next is the ND filter, which is currently set to clear. Bottom center is the shutter speed. Next is the iris setting. And finally, in the bottom right corner is the focus, distance, and zoom level. Let's start by putting the battery on. Look at the battery and locate the electrical connectors. Look at the camera and locate those electrical connectors. The connectors on the battery and the connectors on the camera should line up. These will face down. Put the battery in the back of the camera, starting with it near the top of the handle. Gently slide the battery back and down until you hear a click. To take the battery off, push the button to the top right of the battery compartment and slide the battery up and pull the battery out. On the rear left side of the camera is a door where the SD cards will go. Gently pull the door from the right side to access the card slots. To take the card out, gently push on the SD card. The card will pop out a bit so you can grab it. To put the SD card back in, slide it into slot number 1 with the brass contacts facing the battery. Push it in and then close the door. You may notice a yellow light blinking near the SD card. This indicates if an SD card is in. If it's blinking, it indicates that it's reading or writing to the SD card. Let's open up the LCD screen. On the top in front of the handle, you will see a square with 4K written on it. Gently lift the screen. Once it is tilted all the way out, you can then tilt the screen for ease of viewing. Now on the other side of the camera where the grip is, push in the white button and slide down the lever to the on position. Notice where the line is pointing. This will show you if you're on or off. Back on the other side of the camera, locate the menu, select push set scroll wheel button. You can also use the controls on the top of the camera as well. You will use these to navigate the menu options when we change the camera settings. The LCD screen is also a touchscreen, so you can use that to select. Press the menu button and look into the LCD screen. You will see a list of options. Recording. Now press select. Scroll down to file format. Select MOV. Next, scroll to record format and press select. Here you can select the video format you would like to record in. Scroll to your preference and press select. We generally use 1080 5994i or interlaced, or 1080 2997p or progressive. Now press exit. Press exit again to leave the menu. You can also press menu again to leave. Once back to the LCD screen, you can now see what settings you have. Let's make sure the SD card is formatted and ready for recording. Press menu and scroll to others. Format should already be highlighted. Press select. Pick which SD card slot you would like to format. In this case, we're doing SD card 1. Word of caution, make sure you remove your footage before you continue. There is no undelete. Scroll to the SD card you want and press select. Scroll to select set and press enter. Once done, press select to exit. Now look in the LCD screen and you can see how much time you have to record. This will be different based on the size of the SD card and what you have your record format set to. Now you're ready to record with the correct record settings and a clean SD card. You will want to use your camera in manual mode so that your exposure, focus, and color balance are all correct. Not all cameras are good in auto. Also, You want a specific look, so auto may not match what look you want. First, make sure the auto manual switch is in manual. Look at the focus switch and make sure that that is set to M. Now, let's make sure that the iris is set to manual. You will need to look at the viewfinder and push the iris button. Keep pushing the iris button until it's set to iris manual. Once you have the iris in manual, you will see F and a number or open in the LCD screen. Now you can move the iris ring, which is the ring closest to the camera body, and move it up and down to close or open the iris to the correct exposure. When looking at the LCD screen, look for zebras or wavy lines. This will indicate the brightness level. If you do not see the zebras, push the zebra button. Our cameras are set to 80% zebra, so when you see the zebras, your shot is set to approximately 80% brightness. With the shot properly exposed, time to get a focus. To get the proper focus, you will use the ring in the front of the lens. When shooting a person, you will want to focus on the person's eyes. If it is an object, pick something that is defining or that is important. Always zoom in as far as you can so that you can get the best focus possible. Focusing on the wide shot is not going to give you the best focus. Our cameras have a focus assist button to help you with focusing. After you zoom in all the way, push the focus assist button. You will see either red indicators on the screen showing you what is in focus, or the screen will digitally zoom in, and in some cases, the camera will show you both. Once you're done, make sure you turn off the focus assist. You will know you have turned it off when you see the on-screen displays again. Reframe your shot to get the proper framing you want. Let's make sure that the white balance is good. Place a white card or a white sheet of paper in front of the camera. Do not place it right in front of the lens. Place the white card where your object or subject is. This is what you have lit, so this is what the white balance will be based off of. Zoom in so that white covers your whole shot. In some cases, you may not be able to zoom to get the whole shot white. In that case, just get as much white as possible. The camera is smart enough. You may have to adjust your iris to get a proper brightness. On the side of the camera, make sure you set the white balance switch to either A or B. A or B is just two different storage locations, so you can have two white balances for two different white settings. While looking at the LCD screen, push the white balance button located in front of the camera under the lens. You will see AWB-A active, and then AWB-A OK and a number. That number indicates the color temperature. You may see AWB-B if you're using the B switch. Now your color should be good. Make sure to reframe your shot and adjust your iris if needed. Now at this point, you can start shooting only if you need video. To do this, get the shot framed and then push the red record button located on the side grip or on the top handle. If you look at the LCD screen, you should see a red dot and eventually the minutes going down. Once you're done recording, just hit the record button again to stop. You can double check the LCD screen to see if the red dot is gone. To plug in the XLR into the mic and the camera, make sure to line up the pins with the cable. Push in the cable and make sure it's tight. In this case, we're plugging into channel 2. To adjust the audio settings, look on the side of the camera with all the buttons. There will be a clear door. Gently pull the door open from the right side. Depending on which input you're using, switch that to mic. In our case, we picked channel 2. Depending on the type of microphone you're using, you may or may not need 48 volts, better known as phantom power. In this example, with our handheld mics, we just need mic. On channel 2, you have inter or internal, input 1 and input 2. Make sure that you select Input 2. To make sure your audio sounds good, you'll want to use headphones to monitor your audio. Take the headphone connector and plug it into the headphone jack located on the back side of the handle near the 4K logo. Where the headphone symbol is, gently pull the plug. The plug will stay with the camera. Plug in the headphones. While using the audio dial for channel 2, which is your external microphone, you can adjust the level. Talk into the microphone and adjust the levels while looking into the LCD screen.
1, 2.
You will see at the bottom left 2 bars and dots. This shows you the audio level for each channel. First, look at channel 2 and adjust the levels using the dial. Adjust the level so that the audio is peaking just past the vertical line, which indicates good audio levels. Do the same thing for channel 1 if you happen to be using a second microphone. If you're not using a second microphone, I would highly suggest that you set up channel 1 to use the camera mic as a backup. To adjust the volume of the headphones, press the -+ button on the top of the handle controls. Look at the LCD screen and you will see a volume level appear on the screen. You can change what you hear in the headphones. You shouldn't have to adjust this, but just in case you don't hear channel 1 in one ear and channel 2 in the other. However, if this is not the case, you can go to Menu, scroll down to Audio, and push Select. Then scroll down to Output Settings. There you will see Audio Out. It should be set to channel 1, 2, and stereo. If not, push Select, then scroll to the proper setting. In most cases, you will want channel 1, 2 stereo, so you can hear each channel separately. Now you're ready to record your shoot. Once you're done, make sure you turn off the camera, tilt the LCD screen flat back into the handle, properly disconnect the XLR from the camera and the microphone, properly wrap the XLR cable, something you'll learn later, remove the battery, remove the tripod plate from the camera and leave it with the tripod, and collapse the tripod legs, folding them in along with the arm. Make sure you place the tripod head in the bag where indicated by the picture. It helps to slide the legs in first to the bag. Neatly put away all the equipment into the camera bag. Don't forget to remove the SD card and transfer all the contents of the SD card to your computer or external hard drive so that you can edit it later. I highly recommend that you transfer all the files from the SD card. You never know if for some reason your recording's using other files. If you only pick the video ones, you'll be missing some other files. Transferring everything is a good habit to get into because if you use another type of camera, it may record in a different format and put files all over the place. By copying everything, you save yourself. Once you've transferred your footage, put the SD card back into the camera and return the equipment to the loan room. I would not format the card before you return your equipment. Just in case you have an issue with your files, we may be able to pull the equipment and grab the files again if no one's taken the equipment after you. This has happened many times and we've been able to help students because the SD card was not formatted when they returned it.